it will definitely injure the chastity of Sita, and therefore it does all these things. Probably it makes the whole body a sieve and pierces through each and every cell, and ensures that no part of the body of Ravana has a memory, a trace of the memory of Sita, and then he dies. This is very important, no? And then come to Shakespeare. In Shakespeare, you have got a similar scene, a similar situation in Julius Caesar, where Julius Caesar is killed, and the most important person to be remembered here is Brutus, and Brutus stabbed Julius Caesar quite unexpectedly. And when he, you know what happens when somebody stabs somebody, you know very well, blood will come out, automatic. But the message is simple. And he stabs him, the blood comes out, and he dies. But then the method of conveying, the method of communicating makes it a great piece of literature. As when after stabbing the body of, after stabbing Caesar, Brutus plucks the knife. As he plucks the cursed steel away, mark how the blood of Caesar followed it, as if rushing out of doors to be resolved, if it was really Brutus who knocked. For Brutus, you all know, was Caesar's good angel, sheer ingratitude. This was the most unkindest cut of all. Blood oozing out of the wound is just normal, but Shakespeare makes it a very beautiful imagery and says that the blood of Caesar did not believe when the message was passed by the brain that Brutus stabbed him. That's why he said, you too, Brutus? How is it possible for Brutus to stab Julius Caesar? Can Julius Caesar believe it? He never believed it. But then the message was sent automatically, because blood is the seat of emotion, and a friend stabbing Caesar, unbelievable, ingratitude. And therefore, a message was sent, and the blood of Caesar followed the knife to see, up to the level of the face, to see if it was really Brutus or somebody else. It saw really Brutus standing and with his knife, and then Caesar thought probably, no meaning in living in this world, even Brutus is not able to understand me. Then he died. Look, this is how we juxtapose even images for the purpose of enjoying the aesthetic pleasure given by literature. Now, going to the next segment, poetry yields. And before that, let me just quote the great words of Ezra Pound, who said, "What is literature?" You might have studied so many things. Now just come to this point. What is literature? Ezra Pound, a great poet, says, great literature is simply language charged with meaning to the utmost possible degree. Great literature is simply language charged with meaning to the utmost possible degree. It is not at all possible to separate language from literature, because if there is no language, there is no foundation. It's a wedding between the language and a fertile language and a fertile mind. And that is how he defines it. And the same definition you find in one of the earliest pronouncements of Kalaignar. Probably you never heard of this. As a budding student, Kalaignar started thinking about the nature and quality of poetry and defined poetry as follows, using elegant and apt similes and metaphors in the very first volume of his monumental autobiography, Nenjukku Neethi. He says, Kavithai என்பது துடித்து எழும் உணர்ச்சியில் வெடித்திடும் ஊற்று, கற்பனை வானின் மின்னல் கீற்று, கலை எழில் வழிந்திட முளைக்கும் நாற்று, கண்ணல் மொழியில் மணக்கும் காற்று, இயற்கை கவிஞராம் எண்ணரும் தந்தை வயலில் உழுதார், வளம் பெற கற்பனை வயலிலும் உழுதார், வக்கனை கவிதை பயிரையும் வளர்த்தார், பலாச்சுளை பாடல்கள் பல பல தந்தார், தந்தை வழியே தனையன் எனக்கும் சிந்தை சென்றிட சிறு சிறு கவிதை பூத்திடும் செடியாய் பொலித்திடும் வேட்கையால் யாத்திட முயன்றேன் அரும்பு பாட்டுகள். So this is what he wrote when he was a student. Now of course you understand why. Now did you notice a similarity between all the writers who have chosen? Thiruvalluvar, Kalidasan, Kamban, Shakespeare, Kalaignar. None of them had a formal higher education. None of them took degrees like a PhD, deal it like that. And in spite of it, they become very great scholars. And most of us still say that we are not able to produce such great scholars even today, in spite of the higher education and all that. So that is now this is how he started, and you know the reason for the way in which it has been going on throughout his life. Now another segment, poetry yields a lot of meaning only when we have the ability to interpret the connotative meaning of the text. Most of us enjoy the denotative meaning and leave it and think that that is poetry and therefore. But the connotative meaning is very important. Several interpretations and commentaries of Tirukural are available, But Kalaignar has used similes, metaphors and rich imagery to explicate the implicit and the connotative meaning of the couplets of Thiruvalluvar. In fact, the excellence of Kuralovium is in its illustrative quality by using the very apt and telling images. Now here are one or two examples. Devam Tolal, Tolunan Toludeluval, Kolunan Toludeluval, Peyyana Peyyum Malai. For this couplet, many commentators have given the denotative meaning known to all of us. But Kalaignar considers Peyyana Peyyum Malai as a simile and compares the faithful wife who worships her husband and serves him with utmost sincerity to merciful rain that blesses the farmer as and when required. The readiness of the rain to serve the farmer is compared to the total submission of a wife to her husband in the following couplet. In this couplet, right. The next one, Kulal inidhu yaal inidhu enba tammakkal malalai chol keladavar. Here, Kulal and Yal are interpreted as images of male child and female child because Kulal is used mostly by men and Yal mostly by women. So the expression means that it is enough if a family has one son and one daughter who will be better and sweeter than Kulal and Yal, and this interpretation reminds us of Roland Barthes' The Death of the Other. Of course, the death of the other is dead. But here, the author is alive even after 2000 years in the person of Kalaignar, and he perpetuates the meaning of Thiruvalluvar. In fact, in Kuralovium, Thiruvalluvar reappears in 13 places. And he comes out with this new interpretation and saying that, why are you looking at Thirukural, my Thirukural like this? I did not mean that at all. Please stop thinking about it like that. Now take this meaning from me. So in 13 places he appears. Kalaignar appears as Thiruvalluvar and Thiruvalluvar appears as Kalaignar, and in 13 places he suggests, please don't misinterpret me. I have given a different interpretation. Of course, the principles of life and the ethics of life and the radical humanism of Kalaignar, they have all gone into the interpretation that is well known to all of us. In spite of it, he says. Now here, in another place, those who sit in the palanquin and those who carry the palanquin are shown as similes, and Kalaignar provides a new layer of meaning against the traditionally accepted one or known one. Thiruvalluvar himself appears and expresses his anguish over his couplet being misinterpreted to yield the meaning that those who sit on the palanquin are virtuous and those who carry the palanquin are vicious. But Kalaignar has amended it suitably and says that those who follow the path of virtue, like the one who sits in the palanquin, will continue his journey of life considering the ups and downs of the life with ease, and those who follow the path of evil, like those who carry the palanquin, are unable to withstand the pains of life and consider their lives as burden. So this is how he interprets. Arattaru iduvana venda sivigai purutanodu urdan idai. And that is the Thirukural for which interpretation is rendered like this. While interpreting the couplets, Kalaignar has not presented the metaphysical world, unknown regions of mere superstition, fantasy, even gods to illustrate through his images. His similes and imagery include only exemplary men and women who lived amidst us. Periyar, Rajaji, Anna, Gandhaji, Jayaprakash Narayanan, Vinobaji, Socrates and so many others. While explaining the significance of the following couplet, Manithakka Manbudayal Ahitatkondan, Valaitakkal Valkai Tunai. Kalaignar brings the image of Karl Marx's wife Jenny before our mind's eyes. And one who knows the life of Jenny and her husband Karl Marx can easily understand the complete meaning of it. Right. And now, there is another beautiful Thirukural